For this project, our team was able to successfully collaborate almost entirely by virtual means. We have researched the objectives of integrated project delivery, and we can now more aptly understand the objective of this particular project, co-location. We work together through the use of conference calls, instant messaging, share files, and Zoom teleconferencing, but agree that co-location is the best way to work together. This realization made it easier for us as a team to work together, each sharing our own ideas with the group in a supportive environment to come up with the floor plan, budget, schedule that we are submitting. For the creation of the floor plan, we researched literature that detailed how an IPD project is typically conducted. From that, we learned who is generally included at the co-location site and the expectations of co-locating. We assessed the given first floor space of the medical office building and each offered our input on the setup of the space. We opted for an open floor plan to allow for easy communication between team members. We began our selection process for seating first. We wanted our members to be in close proximity with one another, to be able to collaborate with ease. We started with the idea of a 6 seating type, then came down to just 3 seats. We spent some further time researching the associated costs with each seating type arrangement and soon realized the high costs associated with it. Ultimately, we decided in the interest of cost as well as space, 4 tables pushed together in a pinwheel pattern would best integrate the team. As for the rest of the floor layout, like I previously said, we opted for an open floor plan. Using Bluebeam, we wanted our team to collaborate so we have opted for combined seating arrangements. After conducting some research, we anticipated the space to be shared by the owner, architects, engineers, general contractor, construction manager, subcontractors, and suppliers, as the project schedule calls for. We understand that not every subcontractor will need to be present for the entirety of the project. The same goes for the suppliers. Who will work at which workstation will be left up to the project team. However, we think that at the very least, each workstation of 4 would be made up by employees from the same company. 2 to 3 workstations will remain unassigned and left to temporary or visiting team members, such as subs and suppliers that come in for kickoff meetings or coordination meetings, but that will not necessarily be needed on site full time. Other aspects of our floor plan include movable dry erase board partitions around the workstations that can be used for impromptu meetings and other collaborations, schedules, and look-aheads, etc. Tables to review plans, 2 break room areas with booths and tables, 3 printing locations with office supply shelving, including plotters and other printers. We have estimated that upwards of 50 people could be sharing this space at one time, so we've created a space with multiple tables and chairs facing a screen created by a wall talker or a white dry erase film applied to the wall, which can be used as any kind of dry erase board for meetings. A mounted overhead projector will be utilized for presentations. This space was designed to hold large, open meetings among stakeholders. Small offices are unassigned and can be used by anyone needing a private space. Larger conference rooms can likewise be used by anyone. However, we did account for 2 mid-size offices to be utilized by the owner and general contractor. As we will not have to utilize the vault, we have designated it as a storage space along with the storage closet that will be constructed by the large printer area.
Before I continue any further, let me introduce you to the members of this group. I'm Divyanshu, a construction science and management grad student here on Clemson University. Nicole Davis, whom you heard earlier, is an online student in the same department, currently working in a firm called Bonds and Company in Atlanta. Abhinav is again a construction engineering management student here on campus, and we have Harish, an industrial engineering student interning for a company called Magna International. The primary focus of this project was to use IPD method of delivery to design and deliver a co-location room for construction. Keeping principles of IPD in mind, early involvement was called for, and as soon as everyone was clear on the project, all of us started brainstorming ideas about how to complete the task at hand. With the project where every member was a part, the first thing we required was a common platform. Communication took the form of internet applications such as GroupMe, Zoom, and Google Docs, also the calls. The first discussion we had was fluid. Everyone was honest regarding what they were bringing to the table, their availability of time to dedicate to the project, and how they plan to finish their project responsibilities. Progressing through the project, the second discussion shed light on everyone's views of how they believe the project delivery room, should be laid out. As a group, we held discussions and deliberations prior to making each decision pertinent to the project. Taking each member's ideas and suggestions into account, we finalized the design of the room. The layout of the room had primary focus of inclusivity, with an open floor plan and a minimum number of partition ensured of that. Each workstation is only of four. This made sure of privacy, which at times is required. Workstations are aligned in MEPF, which is mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire clusters to elaborate all the responsibilities. For example, the mechanical systems, be it from engineering team, design team, or contracting team, were clustered into one, forming one big neighborhood with clear sight of line to other groups, all speaking in one technical language with a clear mind and discussing and collaborating together. Cindy Lima was executive director of UCSF Medical Center once said, "If I were to do something differently, I think it would be to jump ahead and set up the systems a little earlier." After our first discussion getting to know each other, in second discussion when we finalized our design plan, we also finalized the individual tasks and set up a timeline. We coordinated weekly and checking up on progress and helping each other when asked. Of course, we had an issue with our design, budget, schedule report, and the final report, but everyone came together, gave ideas, and convinced everyone before proceeding as per their plan. After the design elements of the room were decided upon, the tasks representative of the bulk of the project needed to be assigned. These tasks included, which I already discussed, the scheduling, the budgeting, the who will prepare the final report, and other necessary tasks. Considering that each member came from a different background with different strength, the team was asked to consider their strength and choose which portion of the project they were most suited to. At the end of every week, we discussed and the progress of each member of the task of each member and the task they were doing, and we helped whenever we were asked. After the preliminary completion of the each task, the team would discuss and suggest improvements as needed, and the improvements were added as necessary.
Hey everyone, I'm Abhinav and I'll be talking about how we estimated the budget for this co-location office space. So before starting with the budget estimate, we checked some average built-out cost for building office spaces from scratch, and they range from $50 to $60 per square feet. And the total carpet area that we calculated for this project using Bluebeam came to about 23,025 square feet. So accordingly, the average cost for this project would have been between 1.1 to 1.4 million dollars. So even though we had no limit on the budget as such, we tried to get the budget up to or lower than these values. Next up, for our detailed estimate, we decided to follow bottom-up estimating method. That is, you start with estimating the cost of all the basic components and work your way towards the finishing components. So for estimating general construction work like air conditioning, electrical, and flooring, we use the average cost values. For example, if average value of floor finishing costs from $3 to $7 per square feet, we went ahead with $5 per square feet. Next, for estimating specific equipment cost, we manually calculated the number of units of each equipment or component based on our design and calculated the total cost of each equipment based on the specific individual cost. Now, as Nicole and Divyanshu explained, we tried to use all the modern office equipment in our design, like all-in-one computers and wall talkers. And to get the cost of each of these components, we researched some equipment that are currently used in the industry. For overall contingency and risk factor, we added 5% of the subtotal amount and reached a grand total of $0.96 million. dollars. By using an IPD-oriented design, we reduced the cost up to some extent. For example, we did not use partition walls and private cubicles for all the departments. And overall, we tried to focus on building an environment that would encourage collaborative efforts and build trust among the participants. Up next, Harish will talk about the project schedule. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Harish and I'll be discussing about how we plan the schedule required for complete construction of this workspace, starting from design phase to cleanup activities. So the project starts on September 3rd, right after Labor Day, and is supposed to end on 29th December. As 29th December would include Christmas and Boxing Day holidays, as we all know, our initial thoughts were to try and complete the project before Christmas, as it would be convenient for all the employees. Along with Christmas, we have added several other holidays as non working days, along with Saturdays and Sundays. So we used MS Project to make schedule as it's generally accepted in the industry. So we discussed with each other collaboratively within our team and using some resources like GroupMe as Nicole has discussed earlier, and we agreed upon the following schedule. So the schedule it starts with milestone setting, which took us less than a day, which started on September 3rd and it ended on the same day. And after that, we started with the design phase, which took 19 days, which started on September 3rd and it ended on September 27th. And one more key thing is that we were able to process the construction phase, and we start with that even before the design phase was completed. So we started with permits like electrical, plumbing, and environmental permits, which you can see that was processed parallelly during the design phase. After that, we started with initial HVAC fitting and initial plumbing, which took 10 days, which started on September 23rd and ended on October 4th. And after that, we started with initial electrical fitting, which took 10 days, which started on September 23rd and ended on October 4th as well. After that, we started with installation of sprinkler system and fire safety, which is one of the most important aspects of any industry because safety is the primary concern for any organization. And that took 5 days for us, which started on October 7th and it ended on October 11th. After that, we started with initial fitting inspection, which took us 1 day, and that started on October 10th, 15th and ended on the same day. After that, we started with the paint work, which took us 4 days, which started on October 16th and it ended on October 21st. And after that, we started with the floor material mobilization, which took us around 2 days, which started on October 22nd and it ended the next day. After that, we started with the flooring activities, which took us 12 days, which started on October 24th and it ended on November 8th. And after that, we started with the partitioning of walls. And even though there are not a lot of partitioning of walls involved in our project plan, there are some places which uses the partitioning of walls, like the conference rooms. And for that, it took 4 days for us, like which started on November 12th and it ended on November 15th. And then we proceeded with the electrical finishing activities, which took 8 days, which started on November 18th and it ended on November 27th. And after that, we started with the HVAC finishing activity, which took us the same 8 days, which we parallelly processed starting on November 18th and it ended on November 27th as well. And then we started with the finishing activity of paint finishing, which took us 5 days, which started on December 2nd and it ended on December 6th. And then we started with the door installation, which took us just 3 days, which started on December 9th and it ended on December 11th. And parallelly, we started processing the break area sink and water fountains, which took us the same 3 days and it started on the same December 9th and ended on same December 11th. And then we proceeded with the office equipment mobilization, which started on December 12th and it ended on December 13th. And so after that, we started with installation of office equipment. It took us 5 days, which started on December 16th and it ended on December 20th. And then we proceeded with the cleanup activities, which started on December 23rd and it ended on the same days. And then we proceeded with the finishing the milestone and celebrating each other's success, and we sent the thank note for each and every project team members for the success of the project. There were lots of benefits of using IPD for this construction project. Some of them were we were able to fast track the project, as we were able to start construction phase right before the end of the design phase, as you all could see during our schedule. Also, we were able to save costs wherever possible, like excluding partitioning walls wherever possible to force collaborative environment, which in turn brought us a lot of cost savings as well. We were able to meet the target, still considering worst case scenario for the duration of the activities. And there are some limitations for IPD, and some of them were not we were not able to being discussed in real time and reach swift conclusion, which could have been solved by co-location. And apart from that, parallel processing means more finances tied together at a given point of time, which might be pretty difficult for owners who are taking financing from an organization. Finally, this project gave us incredible insight on how IPD method works and gave a huge amount of responsibility for each and every team member. It was my immense pleasure in working with my team members, Nicole, Divyanshu, and Abhinav, and I would like to thank them for their strong support and strong commitment towards this project throughout this project duration, which helped us in completing the project successfully. And apart from that, I also would like to thank the professors for presenting us with the opportunity to come together and to learn about the IPD process in depth. So we are looking forward for the next project and to learn more in detail regarding the IPD process. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.